we're going to start off, write this down, with two ordered pairs. And then, so these are just two random points. And the first thing we're going to need to find out is we want the equation of the line through those points, so we need to know the slope. So we're going to use that information to first find the slope. So let's just write down the formula for that. And then from there, we'll have one of these 2 points to pick and our slope. And then we're going to use what we learned yesterday. We're going to put that information into point slope form. And then from there, we'll apply what we learned yesterday, distribute, combine, all of that stuff. And we're going to end up with an equation in slope-intercept form. So basically, we're going to start here and end here. We'll have two random points. We'll want the equation in slope-intercept form. We'll find the slope. We'll put it into the point slope. And eventually, we'll end up with that. Okay. So let's get to it. All right, number one. So we're always going to start with two ordered pairs. In this case, we'll start with 0, -3, and then -5, 3. So these are 2 points on a two-dimensional space on coordinate plane. And imagine we draw 2 points and then graph a line through them. Okay? So the first thing we're going to need is the slope. So let's start with that. We're always going to start with the slope. Okay. So write this down. M equals fraction bar, subtract here, subtract there. And we're going to apply this formula. Let me refresh your memory on how to use it. The quickest, easiest way I could think of is take the second ordered pair. Imagine we rotate it counterclockwise 90 degrees. So 3's on top, -5's on the bottom. Okay, write that down. 3's on top, -5's on the bottom. And then we'll do the same thing with the first ordered pair. Except this time, -3's on top and 0's on the bottom. Okay, we've done this a few times now. And the only thing we really have to be careful with is looking out for subtracting correctly. And what I usually do is anytime I have, what do you call it? A negative, I do keep change flip or keep change opposite. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to keep the 3, change this to plus, and the opposite of -3 is 3. So basically, I have 3 plus 3. And since I have a negative here, I'm going to do the same thing. Keep, change this to addition, and the opposite of 0 is 0, so I don't have to do anything there. So basically, I have -5 plus 0. That's -5. Okay, so I have an ugly slope. 6, -5, right? It's not very nice to work with, but I have an advantage. Okay, so I have this slope. The advantage I have is I could pick either 0, -3, or -5, 3. I could pick either one of those two numbered ordered pairs. Which one do you think is easiest to work with? The one with 0 or the one without 0? Actually, it's with, because we're multiplying. And what do you when you multiply with 0, what happens? Yeah, you get 0. So if you have a 0 anywhere in your ordered pairs, pick that. Okay? So let's go ahead and use this one and this ordered pair. Can you open the door, please? And let's see. All right. All righty. So let's plug this into point slope like we've been doing yesterday. We're going to plug this in and we're going to get y. And this is negative 3. What's going to happen when I plug it in here? Plus 3 equals negative 6 over 5, parentheses, x minus 0. That's this 0 there. Okay, so let's distribute. Here's where we convert all of this into an equation in slope-intercept. So let's multiply with negative 6/5. And that 0 is going to make it a lot easier. So let's see. Y plus 3, nothing happens there. I multiply negative 6/5 with x. Let's write that down. What's going to happen when I multiply negative 6/5 with 0? It's 0. And it's also negative times negative, so that's positive, so it's plus 0. So that part that sometimes gets a little messy with the fraction and multiplying, not so bad. Thank you. So let's go ahead and get rid of the 3. And we get y equals negative 6 over 5 x. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. We get an answer that's not so bad or not so hard to get. But that's the whole process. Start with 2 points. Use those to find the slope. Take that slope and pick one of the 2 points. Put it into point slope. Do what we learned yesterday. And you'll end up with an answer in slope-intercept. Any questions? Let's do a few more. Okay, let's see. Number 2. All right, this time let's do 6, 1 and 7, 2. Okay, write down those numbers. 2 ordered pairs. And set it up so we can find the slope. Okay. So if you would, take a minute, plug these numbers in so we can find the slope. Okay, I'll give you a minute to set it up. But I want to see what you get. Practice finding the slope using the slope formula. Okay. Okay, so if you did this correctly, you should have 2 minus 1 and 7 minus 6. So 2 take away 1 is 1. 7 minus 6 is 1. I get 1 over 1, or 1 ones, which we simplify to just 1. So that's our slope, 1. Which ordered pair do you want to try, 6, 1 or 7, 2? 6, 1. Either one would work. 6, 1 is a little easier to work with probably. So let's plug in this point and this slope into this. Y minus 1 equals 1 for the slope, parentheses x minus 6. Okay, there we are. Let's distribute 1. And remember, 1 doesn't change anything when you multiply with 1. So it becomes y minus 1 equals 1x. I guess I'll just write it as x. 1 times x is just x. And 1 times minus 6 is still minus 6. So nothing changed by distributing 1. And the last thing we'll do is get rid of the minus 1. Okay, so we got rid of the minus 1. We just have the y variable there. Nothing happened with x, so it can come down. And negative 6 plus 1 is minus 5. So there we are. The equation here is y equals x minus 5. Okay. So far, so good. Let's move on to number 3. I'm just going to write the ordered pairs for number 3. And that'll be negative 3, 2. And negative 6, negative 2. I see 3 out of the 4 numbers are negative, so we definitely will have to use keep change opposite when we subtract. Change it to addition. Okay? All right. So we can continue. I'll have to do a little editing with this video, though. Okay. So let's go ahead and find the slope. So I'm going to do second ordered pair, negative 2, negative 6. The first ordered pair, 2, negative 3. Okay. And now we have to do the subtraction, but we'll convert it to addition. So we got negative 2 plus, so keep change, and the opposite of 2 is negative 2. So we have negative 2 plus negative 2. I got negative 6 plus negative 3. That becomes positive 3. So now I have to do negative 6 plus 3. That's negative 3. Okay. So I got negative 4 plus over negative 3. I can simplify that because it's negative divided by negative. And that becomes 4/3. So it's positive 4/3. Okay. So now we have a decision to make. Do we use negative 3, 2 or negative 6, negative 2? Okay. They each have their advantages. Remember that when we put this into point slope, we change those minus 6 and minus 2 to plus signs. So that would help us there, but these are smaller numbers, so either one would be good. So now let's take this point in this slope and put it into point slope. So it's y minus 2 equals 4/3 x plus 3. All right. So let's go ahead and distribute 4/3. So 4/3 times x is 4/3 x. And now we have to multiply 4/3 times 3. It's going to be 4, but let's go through the process so we can see why. So it's going to be 4/3 times 3, which I'm going to write as a fraction, so 3/1. So that's what I'm multiplying here. And we can multiply across 4 times 3. That's the numerator. And 3 times 1, 3, is the denominator. So I get 12/3, which means 12 divided by 3. And that is 4. So is this going to be a plus sign or a minus sign? Plus. And we move over that 4 in there. Okay. So I get y equals 4/3 x, and then 4 and 2 makes 6. So plus 6. So the answer here is y equals 4/3 x plus 6. All right. So go ahead and write that down. And then we have one more we'll have a fraction, and then we're going to learn about a couple of special cases. Okay. So let's go ahead and try the next one. -6/5 and 6/3. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. Okay, so let's plot this in 3 and 6, 5 and -6. So there's our numbers. Let's do the subtraction. We have an option on the numerator. What's 3 take away 5? It's -2. So if you're not sure, you can always do keep change opposite. It becomes 3 plus -5. And then that's pretty obvious that that's -2. Let's do keep change opposite with this in the denominator. This becomes 6 plus 6. That's 12. All right. I can reduce this. Let's divide out 2. Okay. So this is going to be -2 divided by 2. And then 12 divided by 2 is 6. -1/6. So we have a slope of -1/6. Shall we use -6/5 or 6/3? Let's try it. Let's try that one. So we're using this point and that slope. -1/6 parentheses x minus 6. Okay. We have to distribute -1/6. So we're going to multiply -1/6 with x. That's easy. -1/6 x. Then we're going to multiply -1/6 with -6 or -6. So that's, yeah, I think some of you are already seeing the pattern. Will it be plus or minus? Plus. And it is 1, but let's see why. We're multiplying 1/6 times 6. So I make it 6 over 1. That becomes 6 over 6. And 6/6 is 1. So we put that over here as 1. Okay. And I get y equals negative 1 over 6x, and then 1 plus 3 equals 4. So there's our equation in slope-intercept form. Okay. Now we're going to do 2, but they're going to be very quick and easy. And these are going to be the special cases. So sometimes we're going to get horizontal and vertical lines. And if you realize what you have, it goes very quickly. So this is going to be special cases. Bless you. But you have to recognize them in order to tell, oh, okay, this is going to be a horizontal line. Here's the equation. Or this is a vertical line. Here's the equation. Okay. So number 5, I'm going to write down the ordered pairs. And I want you to notice, or what, maybe you'll notice or wonder something. It's 1/8 and 3/8. Anything you notice or wonder about this? The y's are both 8. They're the same. And that is, whenever you see either x is the same or y is the same, they're going to be special lines. And we'll see why. So the moment you see this, it's going to be a specific type of equation, but I want to show you why. Okay, here we go. Let's find the slope. So this is going to be 8 and 3 on the bottom, 8 and 1 on the bottom. So 8 minus 8, 0. 3 minus 1, 2. What kind of slope is this? Undefined would be if it's in the denominator. This is 0 divided by 2. Yeah, this is, when you divide anything by 0, it's a, yeah. So this is a 0 slope. Well, it's going to be equals 8. Because 8 is the common y value. And the equation is y equals 8. So the shortcut, what do you think the shortcut would have been? Instead of doing the slope, what could I have done the moment I noticed the y values are the same? Just write down y equals 8. But they have to be identical. If I have negative 8 here and positive 8 there, they're not identical. Yeah. But if they're both negative 8, they are identical. In that case, it would have been y equals negative 8. The moment you see either y values equal or x values equal, then you have one of these special cases. In this case, it's a horizontal line. Okay, let's go for the other special case. You could probably figure out what it's going to be. Okay, negative 2, 1, and negative 2, 7. Let's find the slope, but what do we notice about this? And the x values are the same. So working out the slope, we get 7 over negative 2 and 1 over negative 2. So in the numerator, we get 6. In the denominator, we will do the keep change opposite. That's negative 2 plus 2. It's 0. The 0's in the denominator. When the 0's in the denominator, it's undefined. And what that means is the equation is x equals -2. And you will get one or two like this on today's assignment. So this would be a vertical line. All right. So today's assignment is to complete 10, 10 just like this on delta. And you will get at least one or two like this. Yes. Go ahead. All righty.